morning. Great morning. Wonderful morning. Spectacular morning. Outstanding morning. Magnificent morning. Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious morning. Yes, that beautiful reminder that we get to choose. And what is it that we get to choose? We get to choose how we're going to think. Remember, that's your greatest power. Your ability to choose your thoughts. It's called agency, the ability to act or be acted upon, of which, by the way, we're speaking of what's in your mind. You get to make all that's fundamentally meaningless, which is everything, mean whatever you want to make it to mean. Think about that. You get to choose what things mean. You don't have to be consenting to things as they are and the beliefs that you have. You can change that. And by changing that, what shifts? Your vibratory state. See, that's the attractive force in your life. You change how you're feeling. And through that change in your feeling, that's where the outcomes are made manifest. Yeah, that's how powerful you are. You can change all of that if you'll just practice thinking. And that's what these calls are about. These calls are about helping you to think, more specifically, think rightly. Think in harmony with that good that you desire. And when you think that way, oh my gosh, everything changes. You're no longer a slave to circumstances. You're no longer a slave to the tyranny of second causes. And by the way, hasn't that been amazing as you've been diving into this and using this and thinking, right? You've been feeling different about yourself, right? All of you nod your heads, right? Of course you have. That's why you keep coming back. All right, so let's go into this. And what is this? We've been diving into this, the Master Key System by Charles Haanel. Make sure you have a copy of this. If you don't have a copy of this, just click on the link that we provide you so that you can get this book yourself. It's available on Amazon. And then also make sure that you have your gold card with you. Do not underestimate the power of this beautiful, beautiful card. It's really important. All right, so now let's go into this and dive into where we are. Okay. Now, we have talked about some of these things before, but it's okay. We're going to go over it again. And here we go. Boom, boom, boom. Change. There we go. All right. So here we're on page 184. We went over this before. We're going to lead into 185. But here we're going to dive into the great errors that we have been engaging with as humans. And that's the ignorance that we have. Remember, your only problem in life is ignorance. It's the only problem you've ever had. It's the only problem you will ever have. And what's the ignorance mainly of? It's how to think and understanding that there's this magnificent power that's there that has all the answers. And so what does he say? He says, the great error of the present day is the idea that man has to originate the intelligence whereby the infinite can proceed to bring about specific purpose or result. Now you don't. And the reason why is because the answers are already there, the same way that everything that's been made is already there, that everything that's going to be made is already there. Your job is to remove the clouds so that you can see it. What's so interesting is a lot of people think that there's a door there that you have to go through. And we use a door as an example to go through, but there's no door. It's just like thinking about, a lot of people who think of their heart being half full or half empty. And really, there is no container. That's something you've been conditioned to think. There is no container. That's pretty cool. When you think about that, I go, wow, oh my God. What if there is no cup? What if there is nothing to encase you? You ever think about where that comes from? Well, this is where it comes from. It comes from how you were conditioned. Think about the moment you come out of the womb, the moment you came out, you saw boundaries. You saw walls. You saw doors. That's something that you're conditioned to think. Just look in the room you're in right now. There's walls. You've been conditioned to see that there are walls, when in the inner world there aren't any. And that's pretty cool. Anyways, back to this. The great error is that we have to originate the intelligence. You don't have to originate the intelligence. The intelligence is already there and you're part of it. You don't have to originate the intelligence to manifest what this is. Why? Because it's already there. Remember, God, the universe, whatever you believe, knows better than you how to manifest this in your life. If you rely on the human that you are, that doesn't mean that you're not really great, because you are. Your humanity's wonderful, spectacular. With that being said, if you rely on that, you're not going to be able to see the possibilities. Why? Because the infinite is what's responsible for what's out there. Now, nothing of this kind is necessary. The universal mind can be depended upon to find the ways and means for bringing about any necessary manifestation. Now, notice how he says any, not just some, not just this one, not just that one. Any includes what you've written down for you. Now think about that. Look at what you've written down for yourself. That's a pretty big idea, isn't it? Nod your heads, right? It's a big idea. But is it really a big idea? See, I tricked you. Now, I asked you the question. It's a big idea, but is it really a big idea? No. You know why? Because it just is. Remember what William Shakespeare shared? Nothing is good or bad. Nothing's big or small. It's our thinking that makes it so. It's our thinking. Now, when you think of this idea, you know what's really cool about it? There's people who've done it, which means it's proof that it can be done. Now, what would hold us back from delivering this? Remember, it's not you. You're not stopping you. You're not in the way. You're not your own worst enemy. You're not self-sabotaging. There's no such thing as self-sabotage. Mm-mm. What's in the way is how you've been thinking. What's in the way is what's embedded in you subconsciously. Remember, that's where the problem lies. It's not in you personally, it's in what's been planted in you. So, with that being said, when you lock into who you truly are, which is shared beautifully in this magnificent piece of work. Oh my gosh, this is such a good piece of work. You'll be able to deliver anything you desire. Now, we must, however, create the ideal, and this ideal should be perfect. It's got to be exact. Remember, clarity gives you power. And that's where you've got to dive into. You got to dive into the inner world of which there is no limitation. The only limitation is there is on the things that you see in the outside of which you believe are limitations. Remember, everything's fundamentally meaningless. Everything just is. Now,